listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Вы слушаете свой мозг в воздухе. Программа начнется в ближайшее время. Наслаждайтесь.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Your Brain on Air. I'm your host, Ollie Vogt Larson, and sorry, you are sorry. That was the last dang jar of bread and butter pickles in this store. Folks, in this case, the bread and butter pickles was the idea of an America getting along without any of these wars. We left Afghanistan. Granted, we didn't leave very gracefully. We left with a bunch of people hanging onto our wings, falling thousands of feet, men literally falling to their deaths. And listen, the pickles, the jar was in our sight of no war. We had to deal with Ukraine. We had a few things that we had to hash out, but the bread and butter pickles were right in our sights. And then the little girl with the shopping cart that is the Trump administration with big tech money smashed into our legs, and then we dropped the jar of bread and butter pickles. Here's us at the store shopping. We're going, we don't want dill pickles. We don't want an America where we have proxy wars. We don't want an America where we're imperialist. We want an America without any foreign wars. And we were only going to be satisfied with that. And here's this clip of us at the store finally finding the option of having an America with no wars. And then it proceeding to be broken by this little vindictive bitch.
Dill pickles, kosher pickles, sweet pickles. Bread and butter pickles. Last jar. Oh.
There it goes.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry? You're sorry? That was the last dang jar of bread and butter pickles in this store.
Yep.
Where's your stupid mother? Where is she?
Where is she?
Were you gonna buy this lollipop? Well, now it's broken. Not so fun, is it?
Not so fun, is it? Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that be nice if we could take the lollipop from the little girl who smashed that jar and just be like, well, now that's broken. Now you know how that feels. Well, there's no little girl here. And unfortunately, the voters in this case are the people that are Nevel, and the little girl is the president. So we can't do anything about it. We are watching prices surge. We're watching things go off the charts. Let's cover a little bit about the war. Let's move on. Let's get into our major stories. Begin.
The latest inflation numbers are out, showing a spike in energy costs. The Consumer Price Index for March shows prices up 3.3% from a year ago and up 0.9% from the month prior.
Damn.
It is largely driven by skyrocketing gas prices caused by the war in the Middle East. This report could shape what the Federal Reserve does next on interest rates. Joining us now, bank rate financial analyst Stephen Gates. Thank you for joining us.
What do you
here.
know,
So
Stephen
what jumps out to you from
Gates?
this report?
Well, no surprise, the rise in energy costs are high. The gas price increase month over month was the largest since the Bureau of Labor Statistics started tracking this in 1967. So it's hard to ignore that.
How high is the risk for a second wave of inflation?
It's certainly growing. I think that
Second wave? I thought we were on our 8th or 9th by this point.
the likelihood that we're going to get back to the annual inflation rate at 6, 7, 8% like we saw in 2022, that is extremely unlikely. But are we going to be living in a world with annual inflation in the 3 to 4 range? That's very possible.
Looking at this report here, any bright spots?
Actually, yes. Now, it may be small comfort, but food at home, grocery prices actually went down month over month.
Well, that's
so
nice.
That is going to be a little bit of a break for consumers. That should be welcomed, but it probably is going to pale in comparison to the increase in gas prices and obviously, the difference that people.
So you will not be starving. You will not be able to go to work, granted, but you will not be starving.
Feel in what they're spending may end up being more than what they actually end up spending.
Looking forward here, what do you think this means for the Fed?
The Fed will not be cutting interest rates anytime soon. At this point, given the up and down environment we've seen with the labor market, certainly a very positive report in the last month, but it's been up and down in the last few. It's hard to say that the labor market is suffering at this point. Inflation is the biggest concern. This report certainly proves that. The expectations for April are not any better. The Federal Reserve is going to be holding steady I think the biggest question is...
The Fed is always going to be holding steady. Friday, April 10th, the Consumer Price Index jumped nearly a full percentage point in March alone. That's what they revealed. They're pushing the annual inflation rate to 3.3%. It's marking the sharpest monthly increase since 2022, and it's abruptly ending the two-year cooling trend. The primary culprit has been the historic spike in energy costs, which accounted for nearly 3/4 of the entire monthly increase of the conflict, as the conflict has been choking off global oil supplies. Numbers inside the report are staggering for household budgets. Gasoline prices are rocketing up over 21% in all of last month of March, largest single month jump in the history of the index. Energy shock has followed the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, as we've been covering, which sent crude oil prices soaring from $73 a barrel to nearly $120 in a matter of days. Wow, wowie, wow. While the White House has characterized the surge as a short-term disruption, the impact is already bleeding out into other sectors. Airline fares climbing nearly 15% over the last year, transportation services becoming significantly more expensive. Everyone can vouch for that. I haven't even been traveling too much in airports, but you don't have to do that yourself. You can see it in bus fares. You can see it in anything, quite frankly. Uber costs are up ridiculous numbers.
The Trump administration plans to automatically register eligible men for the military draft.
Hell yeah.
In December, triggering an enlistment protocol that hasn't been used in over 50 years. The policy is part of the selective service system, which writes that every male citizen of the U.S. between the ages of 18 and 25 who's eligible must enlist to serve under a draft rather than waiting for self-registration. This move would be rare. It's something the country hasn't done since the Vietnam War. The unusual change comes along with the ongoing conflict in Iran. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters last month that such a draft is not part of the current plan, but President Trump wisely keeps his options on the table. The change would enable a switch up to the current way eligible men have to register, but bringing back an actual draft would be a bit more complicated than that. It would require Congress to amend the Military Selective Service Act, authorizing the president to enlist civilians during a national emergency. So if a draft happens, who has to register? All U.S. citizens between the ages of 18 to 25, and this includes male immigrants, undocumented immigrants, and refugees. It also includes transgender people who were born male, dual citizens, U.S. citizens abroad, conscientious objectors, and those with disabilities, according to the government's website. Women are not eligible for selective service under the Military Selective Service Act. However, the SSS website says it is prepared to expand registration if Congress were to pass new legislation, including women in mandatory service. Those already on active duty, men with certain disabilities, and
now listen, I'm absolutely in favor of us equalizing the playing field. I think women should be just as, if we want the true gender equality world that we claim to, I think women should be just as available for selective service as men. I think that a mom should have just as much an opportunity to go to war without her choice as a father should have. And I'm sorry, I know people might go, that is cruel or unfeeling because people for some reason believe that mothers are more important than fathers. I'm saying in the context of gender equality, I want people to see, I want people to look out on the battlefield and see not only their fathers fighting for their country, but their mothers too.
Prison are exempt from registering. Men who have previously served in the military but were discharged before their 26th birthday must also register. Failing to register is considered a felony, and the punishments are big. One can face up to $250,000 or 5 years in prison. Punishment also includes possible denial of student loans, government jobs, and citizenship if not already a citizen. Men must register within 30 days of their 18th birthday, though late registration does go up to age 26. A draft would look something like this. Registrants would enter a lottery, and a random drawing of birthdays and numbers would determine the order and who is picked to report for service. According to SSS policy, the first to receive orders for service are those whose 20th birthday fall during the year of the lottery. If needed, additional lotteries are conducted for those starting at 21 through 25, and then 19, and finally 18 and a half years old. Those chosen can ask for postponement, deferment, or exemption. This can be done by reporting to a local military entrance processing station for an evaluation. After that, the determination whether service will be utilized is made. Automatic draft registration was approved by Congress in December. 46 states and territories already have laws in place to automatically register eligible men when they apply for driver's licenses or IDs. The rule change was sent into the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs on March 30th. The change would result in a streamlined registration process and corresponding workforce realignment, the SSS says. This all comes after registration.
What I'm saying is that I remember registering for this thing back when I did get my driver's license at first. It said that you had to register for the Selective Service. So many women may be confused about this, but men, if you've gotten your driver's license and you did it legally, I assume so, you already know that you had to register for the Selective Service. That was already a thing that everybody who is a man, I assume, knew about. There's a small silver lining. The Federal Reserve is saying core inflation, which strips out those volatile, energy and food prices, remained relatively stable at 0.2% for the month, is suggesting that while the war is making it much more expensive to commute and heat homes, it hasn't yet caused a broader death spiral of price hikes across the entire economy. That's good. There's mild good news here. The national average of gas is still hovering around $4.15 a gallon. Many economists are warning that the lagged impact of these high energy costs will likely keep inflation numbers uncomfortably high through the rest of the spring. That is regrettable. Not many people want to hear about that. I'm going to be honest with you. Economy-wise, we're looking at a rough 2026, but it's going to be maybe a recession summer. It might be along the lines of a fun kind of a summer where you're going to have to find your own fun. You're going to go to the beach. You're going to go on walks. You're going to have to take mushrooms this summer. I think mushrooms are going to be huge this summer. You're going to have to do some mind-expanding drugs. I'm saying that, like, smoking a joint and going to the beach with your family might be the peak of 2026. What I'm saying is, like, get your DNR license, get your, like, fishing license, get, like, the ability to walk by rivers, and don't swim in them. I'm saying walk by them. You know, you can get the peace and enjoyment out of a body of water without having to swim in it. What I'm trying to say is that you need to manufacture fun this summer, because it's not going to be coming to you. We're not going to be doing fun things this summer, like making roads work better. We're not going to be doing infrastructure summer. We're not going to be doing anything like that. We're doing war summer. We're doing early 1970s summer. We're doing gas crisis summer. We're doing a summer where you're going to be walking a lot of places, but it's not because you want to. It's because you're trying to save on gas during the week for your job. So during the weekends, you're going to be walking from place to place, mall to mall. It's going to be a very interesting, it's going to be like low-fat, early 80s summer. I'm very excited for what 2026 has in store for us, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's a lot of things in store for us. Example that I'm going to put forward for, listen, as temperatures are increasing, as people are getting into the summer, spring mood, they are eager to escape. People want escapism. People want to feel free from the shackles of corporate life. And many people, they find the freedom of their from their corporate nightmare. They find that freedom in burning down the factories. Am I saying that that is a good idea? No. I'm not encouraging this behavior. I'm only telling you what certain people do. And if you don't believe me, a six alarm fire that gutted a 1.2 million square foot distribution center in Ontario, California, recently is a story that I think proves my point very, very well. Let's cover this story here. Our second story: a man arrested over a massive warehouse fire in Ontario, not Canada, California. Some online are defending his actions. Let's begin. We have the arrest of a 29-year-old employee of, what is this company? What is this? It's sparking a polarizing debate, and I want to hear the opinions of many of the people as to whether or not they agree with this. Chamel, I believe, is the name, Chamel. Abdul Karim, I believe it's Shamel Abdul Karim, was taken into custody this week on charges of aggravated arson. After the Kimberly-Clark warehouse, which houses brands like Huggies, Kleenex, other things like that, was reduced to a smoldering shell. Investigators say that the blaze was suspicious from the start, spreading with such intensity that over 140 firefighters were forced into a defensive operations to save neighboring structures. The case took a viral turn when a video allegedly filmed by Abdul Karim began circulating online, appearing to show him walking through the warehouse aisles and lighting pallets of paper goods on fire. In the footage, a voice can be heard saying, quote, "All you had to do was pay us enough to live," and, quote, "There goes your inventory." Federal prosecutors claim that Abdul Karim also sent text messages bragging that he, quote, "cost these expletives billions," citing his frustration over corporate pay gaps and stating that he, quote, "didn't see shareholders picking up a shift." While city officials in Kimberly-Clark have condemned the act, which caused an estimated $500 million in damages, a surprising wave of support has emerged from the darker corners of the internet. Not even the darker corners. I'm seeing this all over X. I'm seeing this all over some corners of Instagram, TikTok even. Some users are defending the actions of Abdul Karim. They're calling it an extreme form of proletarian protest against stagnant wages and the rising cost of living. These people are what we would call maniacs, psychos. These supporters are arguing that the fire is, quote, "a symptom of a broken system." These are the same types of people that will call a target being raided an act of civil disobedience. You know what I mean? They'll compare it to the lunch counter disputes of the 1960s. Let's look at the clip of this fire, what it looked like here.
Tonight, police say this massive warehouse fire was allegedly the work of a disgruntled employee. Stunning new video appears to show the start of the fire. In the footage posted to social media, you hear someone say all you had to do was pay us enough to live, as stacks of toilet paper burn.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Last night, police announced the arrest of Shamil Abdul Karim on suspicion of multiple felony arson-related charges, adding the 29-year-old is an employee of NFI Industries, a third-party distributor for Kimberly-Clark, the company known for manufacturing paper-based personal care and hygiene products.
We can confirm that he was on scene of the fire at the time that it started, yes.
Now look. I'm gonna say this. I don't love that certain people are going to be doing this a lot more. We saw this with Luigi Mangione. We saw this with this gentleman right here. We're gonna see this a lot, unfortunately. A lot of Gen Z, millennials, younger types, even Gen Xers, not Gen Xers, Gen Alphas. We're gonna see this from them when they start to get a bit older. But we're gonna see them doing horrific acts, either burning down a factory, risking the lives of many, killing people, doing shootings. We're going to see many of this generation doing acts where maybe they show up at a hotel, they shoot a CEO, something like that. And it's going to be something where many of these people are only doing this due to the fact that they are angry. They are only doing this due to the fact that they feel an emotion. Yes, it's very understandable why they may feel this emotion. Maybe they think that this company is fucking people over. Maybe they're like, healthcare, okay, whatever. This one person is not responsible for the healthcare industry. I understand that you thinking that you think that by blasting someone in the head who may have a life independent of whatever it is you think they're guilty of, you think that you enacting your rage, your hate, your whatever will for some reason correct the entirety of the system. Many of these people already know that that is a very unrealistic expectation. Many of these people understand that they're not going to cause a revolution, fix anything via that. You know what I mean? Many of these people are, maybe they don't. Maybe many of these people, they think that they're really going to cause a ruckus and they're going to change the world. I'm going to point out the fact that that is obviously many people are smart enough to realize that that's not the case. So, like with Luigi Mangione, I think he knows that he is very much, this is for the clout. He's doing this for the fame. He's doing this for the attention factor. He wasn't even serviced by the company that he had shot the CEO of. And he wasn't the CEO of said company. He was a board member. Listen, a lot more martyrs. We're going to see a lot more of these martyr figures that are more so kiddos that are looking to act angrily. They're like I hate the way my life is going. I hate the way my life has turned out. I feel like blaming other things, other people, other systems that are bigger than me. I need to tear it all down. We're going to see many more acts where people claim to be acting out of concern for the world at large, or what these companies are doing to the world at large, when really it is an externalization of really, really deep internal problems. That's what I think this case is. That's what I think the Luigi Mangione case is. It's what many of these things are going to be.
And police say they can't comment on specifics, but are aware of this video, adding they will be utilizing any evidence for the investigation. According to fire officials, the blaze broke out in the early morning hours of yesterday in Ontario, California. Flames shot up in back of nearby homes as the fire tore through the approximately 1 million square foot warehouse.
Yikes.
Definitely was uncharacteristic fire. It definitely pushed our firefighters into that defensive operation, and that was one indication that it could possibly be a arson of nature.
In a statement, Kimberly Clark said no one was injured and all workers were safely evacuated. Kareem has yet to be formally charged and is being held without bail. Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News.
We thank you.
Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News. These clips are disturbing. These are like the Joker from The Dark Knight. Listen, I'm not saying this to be dramatic. I'm saying it because many of these types are inspired by, actually, The Dark Knight. Many of them saw this clip where it was the Joker going, no, well then why don't you dress up like him? You know, these very terrorist-y type videos, and they're shocking. They're here.
There goes your inventory.
This new video into our newsroom could be a critical piece of evidence in the fire that destroyed a warehouse in Ontario. It took 175 firefighters nearly 15 hours to put this fire out. Yesterday, the contractor is now facing several arson charges. NBC4's Christian Casares has the very latest on the investigation.
Many people are going to call him maybe like a Robin Hood type. They're going to go, maybe he was trying to help everybody by burning down the place where they make all the money. They're not pointing out the fact that this arsonist endangered the lives of 20 other employees who were inside the building at the time. Abdul Kareem is currently being held without bail at the West Valley Detention Center and faces a mandatory minimum of 5 years in federal prison if convicted. As the San Bernardino County District Attorney and the FBI continue their joint investigation, the incident is becoming a flashpoint for a much broader national conversation about the worker burnout that many people are saying is going to push people to their breaking point. The American labor force can't handle this many corporate slanderings. It cannot handle being fucked over this much, which I think that the American people are being fucked over in some ways, don't get me wrong. Do I think the solution is burning down an Amazon warehouse or a warehouse of any product variety? Of course not. I will not say that is the solution here. Is it funny to catch the videos from these Joker-type psychos? Kinda.
Tonight, new video on social media has surfaced of what appears to be inside a warehouse as someone is going around the room starting several fires while talking about their salary.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live.
I don't know. I don't know what's going through his head, man.
We caught up with Alex Montero on Wednesday, who says he was working the night this Kimberly-Clark warehouse along Hellman in Ontario caught fire. Montero is stunned to see this video because this person, he says, is his fellow co-worker, Shamil Abdul Kareem.
There goes your inventory.
I had just got done talking to him. He had just came over and helped me out with my truck. I was 5 doors down from him.
Fire officials say the fire started on Tuesday just after midnight and quickly grew because of the large amount of paper products inside the warehouse that fueled the flames.
They called break and I went outside, I was sitting in my car, and not even 10 minutes go by and I heard the alarm.
It took crews several hours to get the fire under control, even using drones to extinguish the hot spots after all 20 employees inside were evacuated. Moments later, Ontario police arrested Abdul Kareem for arson. And tonight, Kimberly-Clark says the distribution center was operated by a third-party logistic partner, NFI Industries, and added that a response team has been activated to help relocate impacted workers and minimize customer and consumer impact. How long have you been working there with the company?
About 3 weeks. Yeah. Just started making good money. They called us, hoping to relocate us to another warehouse.
We just started making good money, and it gets lit up.
New at 4, Murrieta police arrested a shoplifter at a Home Depot, and in the process,
whatever.
they cracked a nationwide crime ring.
I don't care about a nationwide crime ring, about the battery leaf blower scheme. We'll cover that maybe in a later episode. But ladies and gentlemen, let's hop into the rapid fire section of today's headlines. A lot of things you need to know about in order to keep your media diet healthy. A lot of breaking news. For example, Kamala Harris says she might run for president again in 2028. She's very vague around the question. And in all honesty, whether or not this would be good for the Democratic Party as a whole, I still sit very much firmly on the side of we need freshness, we need newness. I don't believe that once America spits in your face, once they disrespect you openly, they are going to be willing, happy, or ready to accept you again. Let's see it.
I know we are over the time, but I need to ask you this. There was... Slow down. I promised Miss Harris a certain time. I'm going to respect the time, because I'll need her to come again. This is a convention, not a revival.
What?
It was debated in your campaign in the 107 days that whether you should talk to people like Joe Rogan and hard right-wing people in media. If you were to run again, would you talk to them?
Yes, I would. Listen, I will talk with anyone if it means talking with the American people. What I do not believe in, but however, is gatekeepers. I do not believe in the theory some people would push, which is that you got to go talk to that person to talk to the people. I don't believe that, and I don't believe in that.
You got to talk to me to talk to the American people, Kamala.
So, yeah, and I wrote about it in my book, about the Joe Rogan piece. But yeah, I'll talk with folks as long as I know that the
Stop teasing the book. We get it.
In that moment is to talk to the American people.
So, in your openness...
Quit clapping.
To talk to the American people, as I said in introducing you, you and I go back over a quarter century.
Yes.
Over a quarter century.
Anyone that has had open communication is you and I. So are you going to run again in 28?
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. 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 Please don't.
Well, that's as subtle as Reverend Sharpton could ever be.
Please don't.
We love you for many things, but not being subtle.
Please don't. Gavin would be better.
Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it.
Don't. If you don't, if you do, we'll lose again.
Let me say this. Let me say this. I am thinking about it, but let me also say this. Look, I served for 4 years, being a heartbeat away from the presidency of the United States. I spent countless hours in my West Wing office, footsteps away from the Oval Office. I spent countless hours in the Oval Office in the Situation Room. I know what the job is.
I know what the job is.
I know what it requires. I also know, one of the things that I've been doing, Rev, is, as I've been traveling the country the last year. I've been spending a lot of time in the South and many other places. And the one thing I'm really clear about also is the status quo is not working. And
that's
it hasn't been working for a lot of people for a long time. And part of the issue is the need to get rid of some of the bureaucracy in government, and to understand that the people they don't want process, they want progress.
They want process, they want progress.
I think that look, the American people have a right to expect that anyone who wants to run for office and be a leader, that it can't be about themselves. and what they want for themselves, it's got to be about the American people. And
That's right.
How I think of it, and
okay, she's going to word salad for the rest of this. It's perfectly fine. We have to talk about porn stars and how they're doing Get Ready With Me's. If you don't know, Get Ready With Me's. They're a lane of entertainment, lane of product, quite frankly, on Instagram, YouTube, lots of other platforms where women, they, regardless of, sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's anything really. Can be any gender, any fluid creature, whatever you want to call it. It's mostly women, though. And they just do like a Get Ready With Me. Sometimes they pick an outfit. Sometimes they do they mostly do their makeup or whatever. They water of the day or some shit like that. And then, apparently, according to a recent Telegraph study, a lot of these women, despite the fact that they just seem to be ordinary gals who are just showing you their outfits, doing this and that, a lot of them, according to this, could be cam whores.
You've probably seen hundreds of Get Ready With Me videos on social media. They tend to appeal to young teenage girls who want skincare tips and makeup hacks. But some of these videos are not being created by your average influencers. Your children could actually be watching porn stars. Meet, for example, the Bop House Girls.
Bop House Girls, ew.
A group of young women living together in a luxury Florida mansion. They're creating explicit content on OnlyFans while also posting Get Ready With Me clips and dance trends across all social platforms. While their Get Ready With Me videos may look innocent, they're reaching the algorithms of young girls.
That's not great.
In a few simple clicks, these children can then stumble across other kinds of content. Content that shows influencers revealing their lifestyles are actually funded by OnlyFans. Elsewhere on their pages, they use code words like bop, meaning baddie on point, spicy content, and mattress actress, all of which bypass social media's rules around explicit language and so appear on mainstream feeds. In these other videos, they create an impression that sex work is empowering, lucrative, and entrepreneurial. But now teachers of young students are saying they've noticed the influence seeping into the classroom.
How's that?
Can you tell me a little bit about the moment you were introduced to the Bop House Girls?
One girl said, "Do you mean like the Bop House Girls?" And then I suppose that student found herself in the difficult position of not wanting to tell me about the Bop House Girls. But there was this wave of recognition that rolled through the classroom.
Owen's concerns became even more pressing when he realized OnlyFans creators could earn commission from referrals. The website states that when a new user signs up through your referral link, they receive 5% of their earnings.
That's pretty good.
Those concerns are echoed by Charlotte Devine, who joined OnlyFans at 18 years old.
Jesus fuck!
I lived in multi-million-dollar houses. I traveled the world. I didn't think about money, and I'm
going to be honest with you. I don't want to recommend OnlyFans as a career. As a career for any person, anything, anybody. I actually think that your body, specifically, many people go, you whore shame a lot. Many people will tell that to me, to my face. Listen, I don't whore shame. I encourage people to respect and protect the bodies that they were given by whatever they believe is in power, whether that's God, the universe, whatever. I encourage you to not sleep around. I encourage people to be protective of themselves. I encourage people to be and I'm not even a Christian. I'm not even a person where I'm just like, oh, you got to do this for a certain sake. You should do this out of your sake. I'm saying you should be the egotistical maniac who is protecting yourself. This is the only thing that we are given that we know is ours throughout the world. And it's not even guaranteed to be ours throughout the rest of our lives because it's going to break down. So eventually it'll die on us. What I'm trying to say is that protect it, respect it, cherish it, as though this should be your religion in a way. Is life is your religion. Anyways, I know I'm getting metaphysical. It's hard for people to understand, but that's the reason I whore shame. That's the reason that I lifestyle shame some people, where certain people engage in lifestyle habits that are actively destructive to either their lives or the lives of people around them. And if you don't like the fact that I call out behaviors that certain people engage in that are like that, I'm sorry. It's just sort of a thing where it's like, we don't want that around the show. We don't want that around we don't want the bop house behavior on the show. But regardless, I'll do interviews with all the bop house girls. They seem like they bring some good revenue to the show.
So depressed and so broken, and I just sat by the pool and cried. And just cried and thought, I've got all of this, I'm not happy.
OnlyFans states it warns prospective creators that high earnings may not be easily achieved on the platform. It also claims it rejects 50 to 60% of monthly applications and doesn't directly promote creators' earnings. You probably
okay, so if you're not accepting everybody, how am I seeing almost anyone making a living on this website? And guys, when I say almost anyone, I mean almost anyone. Your uncle could probably sign up for OnlyFans, and there is a niche audience out there that will consume content that he is producing. If you don't believe me, folks, it's just the internet. You can check it for yourself. It's facts. Many of you are going, what would my uncle's niche be? And I don't know. Otter? Most uncles tend to be otters. They don't tend to be very, like, strong looking, but they're very, they have, like, this wider chest area that's more hairy and whatnot. It's like, everybody has a niche. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. You could find, you could find one for an uncle. You could find one for a dad. You could find one for a grandfather. If you don't believe me, it's the internet. It's a fact. Just like the fact that so many companies are leaving California, folks. I'm not saying I started my company in California. I'm saying a lot of companies, even the ones that have called California home, even since the start of their companies, they're making the call. They're going, we gotta go. This is a sinking ship. They're calling the rest of their employees. They're saying, get all your shit together. We're moving operations. Why are so many companies leaving California? The Free Press explores it today.
Why are so many companies leaving California? Headquarters that have moved include Chevron, SpaceX, Charles Schwab, Oracle, Tesla, ACOM, Wells Fargo Wealth Management, Neutrogena, Palantir, John Paul Mitchell, Yamaha announced they're leaving, same with Public Storage. Even CBRE, the company that tracks companies that leave California, left California. In the last decade, hundreds have taken their business out of state, taking thousands of jobs with them. Even if you talk to the independent business owner here, you'll hear the same thing. It's hard doing business in California. Say you want to start a business, let's just get out of the way the astronomically expensive rent, labor, energy, and local taxes. Add a constant stream of inspections, fees, permits, and compliance requirements. A lot of those fall into California state regulations. We obviously need regulations. Like, I am stoked I did not work in a factory as a child. But here's the issue. It's been estimated that California has over 400,000 regulatory restrictions. Ooh. That's 100,000 more than the next closest state. There's been multiple studies that say too many regulations can stall an economy, entrepreneurship, and investment. So let's look at where a lot of these companies relocate to: Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. What do all three of those have in common? Zero income tax. None. California has the highest marginal income tax in the country. A successful business owner here, their top income could be taxed 13.3%.
Yikes.
Is a lot. California is one of the best places, and everyone here, big or small, should have the opportunity to be
successful, folks. If you think that the income tax that you put on your state doesn't really necessarily matter, I think that it can drive away industry, as we're starting to prove with a lot of places. I've been playing with the idea of moving to states with no income tax. It's actually a great idea to set yourself up in the future. In general, I have mixed feelings on a lot of tax situations you can have. On the policy side of it, I think that when it comes to income tax, I generally say no income tax is a lane that I'm willing to travel down, as long as you have other means of taxing your populace in order to get roads paved. You know what I mean? I'm saying do as much as you can while taking as little as possible. That is always going to be and always will be my motto for taxing. Folks, if you're not aware, this is not the only situation that is riling up Americans. If you drink energy drinks, I think that you have many reasons to worry, not only about your heart. I'd say coffee is a much more natural, and I don't know, I've just been drinking coffee since I was a kid. It's a much more easy on your heart means of getting your daily caffeine intake. do not engage in the Monster Energy drinks, any of these sorts of blasted, disgusting beverages that just are they're an absolute cacophony of disasters for your heart. Not only that, a dead, decomposing rat was found inside of a Monster Energy drink can that was purchased at a Norfolk convenience store, according to John Witt, who spoke with News 3. Witt, a Norfolk Navy sailor, says that he reached out to the Food and Drug Administration to file a report, and a WTKR News 3 have reached to Monster Energy drinks for comment. I'm definitely not going to be able to drink from anything that from a closed can again, he said. I'm never going to be able to drink from anything that I can't see.
Started drinking it like normal. Got to work. Realized
that's a whole ass rat. I'm going to leave this photo of this video in the description, all of it. This is shuddering. This hurts my skull. My spine is tingling to look at this image. I'm actually physically and mentally disturbed.
Started drinking it like normal. Got to work. I realized something else was left in it after I got into drinking it. And then I looked inside and found a rat. So after I found that out, I vomited. I got sick multiple times, naturally because of what I'd seen inside. I just had ingested that. I just had drunk that.
By the way, this is the normal reaction to finding out that you have ingested Monster Energy drinks.
Then I went to talk to my change man. They referred me to go to Portsmouth emergency room, and then they confirmed it was a rat, and they confirmed that I ingested it. They told me that I've never experienced a case like this, and that more than likely with the chemicals that are in Monster, that it should be okay. And that my antibodies should be able to fight it off, but they want to keep close watch on me within the next 48 hours to make sure I'm not vomiting or have a high fever or any side effects to drinking. It's been very traumatic for me, and like I said, I'm never going to be able to drink anything that I can't see again. It's disgusting, dude.
Oh, it looks like it's lost. It looks like it's lost hair. It looks like the Joker after it fell into the vat, and then the hair started dissolving off of his skull. It's disturbing, physically and mentally shaking to see. Zohran Mamdani says that he will not be able to deliver the free buses to NYC in 2026. Who could have seen this coming? Apparently, according to the latest. While a New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani says that he is still committed to making buses fast and free, he's admitted that it will likely not happen this year. Quote, both legislative houses included a language within their one House budget proposal in support of bringing back free bus pilot programs. That is something that we are encouraged by, but it continues to be a part of budget negotiations. I'm absolutely committed to making buses fast and free. We are encouraged by the conversations we are having with the governor and legislative leaders to take action on this and as soon as we're able to with 2026 as a first step. Interesting change of tone.
We're going to make buses fast, and we will make buses free. The commitment to make the slowest buses in America fast and to make them free. I'll make buses fast and free. That bus is going to be free.
I don't know that he's going to be able to carry that promise in his give him his whole campaign time that he is it 4 years for New York City mayor? I believe so. He's not going to be able to do it. It's unfortunate. He has less time than the heir to Japan's throne, Prince Hisahito. Yeah, Hisahito. He's the only son of Crown Prince Akishino of Japan. He is now the first male successor to the Emperor of Japan to come of age in 40 years, leaving him as potentially the last ever emperor of Japan. What is this?
This is Prince Hisahito, the 19-year-old carrying the future of Japan's imperial family on his shoulders. He's the only male heir of his generation and second in line to the chrysanthemum throne. Prince Hisahito is nephew to the Emperor Naruhito and son to Fumihito, Crown Prince of Akishino. Here's why the pressure on him is so intense. Japan's imperial succession law only allows men to inherit the throne.
Well,
this means even Naruhito's daughter, Princess Aiko, cannot become the empress. So right now, an imperial line stretching back around 2,600 years, the oldest continuing monarchy in the the world is effectively depending on this one teenager. And if the imperial line is going to continue beyond him, Prince Hisahito will have to have a son. Last year, Hisahito marked a major milestone with his coming-of-age ceremony at the Imperial Palace.
Can you imagine? This is, listen, if you don't know the entire history of Japan, it was a very iconic video for kids my age growing up. It was, Japan is an island by the sea filled with volcanoes, and it's beautiful. It's a very interesting video. You can learn all about how the lineage, the history of Japan's whatever came up and came about. But what I'm trying to say is, imagine you're this coming-of-age young gentleman. He's literally the star of his own anime right now. The entirety of the empire system of Japan relies on him managing to have a son. He is going to have, every anime is always the creepiest thing imaginable. In reality, it's always an excuse just for the creators to be able to sell panty shot pictures in like these 4 foot tall prints that people are going to put on their walls. Listen, the anime community in general, I'm not going to judge a lot of the content that they put out, but I am, because I'm going to. And what I'm trying to say is that the majority of it is goon content. A lot of it, unfortunately, is over exaggerated female forms, and it's not just the females, it's the men as well. They sexualize everything in this community. It's a very terrifying wing of entertainment, quite frankly, to go down, because it straddles this weird line between, they will make television shows, and if people don't know, the age of consent in Japan is like 13 or 14. What is the age of consent? What is the age of consent in Japan currently? The age of sexual consent is 16 or older now. This is current, ladies and gentlemen. However, they always manage, for some odd reason, to make these like elementary school age characters that are put in these bizarre scenarios. Maybe there's like a werewolf teacher or something who's like in love with her. Maybe there's like an adult who's trapped in a child's body. There's always these weird plots and like finangly details where they're like, well, yeah, it's a 45-year-old a guy who really is 600 because he's a vampire dating a 6-year-old who's in like elementary girl school clothes, but like mentally is like 32, but she has this curse of this amulet or something that makes her look super young. They will do like somersaults in order to justify the fact that they are making absolute like a content that you need to check hard drives for, stuff that you need to rip up the floorboards in order to find in America.
In Tokyo, symbolizing his step into royal adulthood. But after him, there are currently no younger male heirs, leaving the future of the imperial dynasty hanging by a single branch of the family tree.
He needs to get to gooning. He needs to get to, and gooning in women, okay? He can't just goon on his own. He needs to get this seed in some women. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to continue. Listen, this is an anime, because every empire, every regional thing where it's like kings and queens and whatnot, we have this weird obsession in humanity where we're like, we want to dress up one family, and this family, we're going to obsess over the children. What are the children wearing to the Easter gathering? When is Prince George going to finally settle down and find a girl to marry? Oh, even though he's only in like, middle school at this point. It's such a weird, like, the United Kingdom's family is just a bizarre example to me. What I'm trying to paint a very distinct picture for how I see humanity for all of you people, so you can clearly understand exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't love royal things. I respect it. I love the television shows we get around it. I love the history we get around it. But as a concept that we currently still carry into the 21st and then 22nd, eventually the future centuries, I think monarchy is one of these things where we're going to realize it was sort of this hangover from an era of idolizing that humans just love to do. We've always loved to do them. We've always loved to go, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the girl. They exemplify, or their family exemplifies the values of this country, despite the fact that they kill their ex-wives, their sometimes their own children. They have blood rituals. They engage in things that are absolutely horrific. They would make you do somersaults if you figured out about them. Like, I'm trying to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Monarchy might be one of these things that we look back on as a bit of like a monkey brain, Stone Age barbarian thing that we've carried into the modern day purely due to tradition. We're not worried about whether or not it means very much or whether or not it's good for society inherently. We just want to carry it on because. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move on. We could talk about First Lady Melania delivering a rare and unexpected remark Thursday, denying any friendship or relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, girl, no one was thinking about you. Everybody was worried about your husband. Everybody was writing you off as a joke. You are inserting yourself. Why do you have to make this situation is about me? I'm going to tell you all about how I knew or did not know Jeffrey Epstein.
First Lady Melania Trump stepped up to a bank of cameras inside the White House today to
Why?
address JeffreyEpstein. A
Why?
topic that may surprise you because it certainly surprised us. The First Lady rarely addresses the public.
How does this help her?
Address came without a typical heads up from the White House on the topic or the purpose.
How does this help her in any way, shape, or form, ladies and gentlemen? How? Tell me one way that mill this over. You are her PR agent. You're going, Melania, your movie was a bit of a flop. We don't have very many options to get your reputation buoyed up to the surface. We want to get you a little bit more in people's public eye. We want to get you to be a bit of this JFK's wife figure. We want you to wear gloves and make women start wearing gloves again. Like, they want her to be a national symbol. We want you to be having tea in the rose garden that's been paved over to make it look like this disgusting sort of, Italian courtyard that's very stone oriented, very Roman, very just like, Colosseum oriented, which just completely clashes with this original, very pretty architecture style. They want her to be a trendsetter, which she very much is not. She is a fork in a what do I call it? A fork in a cleaning cabinet. She just doesn't fit the image.
Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, of course, have dominated so much of the news this year, but had fallen out of the headlines. So why is Melania Trump putting it back into the national
Exactly.
conversation?
Stop.
CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now with what the First Lady wanted us all to hear. Caitlin, good evening.
What did you want us to get from
Tony.
this?
Well, this really came out of left field, and it's not clear exactly what prompted this. Melania Trump tends to shy away from the spotlight, and she's never been a focal point of the Epstein files. In a stunning, nearly 6-minute statement delivered from a podium at
This
the
is
White
amazing.
House, First Lady Melania Trump claimed those
Good evening.
linking her to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were trying to smear her good name.
Yes.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
With the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein. No one was talking about you. Were not. Who was talking about you? Who was even thinking about you? I haven't thought about you in years, sweetie. Everybody thinks about your husband. No one cares about you. You have nothing to do with this. In all honesty, you're silly. What is going on?
The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility.
This is just for attention, by the way. The attacking me, not my husband. I don't give a shit about what my husband did.
And respect.
I believe her. Every word of it, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe her, I don't know what else to say except for maybe you gotta like women a little more. You have to stand with women. I believe Melania every step of the way, ladies and gentlemen. She communicates nothing to me but a trustworthy figure. Much like the Artemis crew. Apparently not, though. Many people apparently don't agree with me on the internet. Many people are saying this is CGI. We're seeing a fake video. We're seeing a false. This is a false flag. Some people are going. They're going. Of course, space isn't real. You know what I mean? They're actually crashing down from a Hollywood studio where they went to go film that lady's hair floating in 0G. So whether or not that you think that they are crashing down from their mission to the moon or from Burbank, California, because it is they're crashing off the coast of Southern California, not helping their operation look very legit. Let's take a look at this news clip. The Artemis 2 crew is set to splash down off the coast of Southern California.
Tonight, the countdown to splashdown, the return of 4 astronauts on board Artemis 2. Splashdown expected at about 8:07 Eastern tomorrow night. Of course, we'll be on the air with live coverage of the whole thing. The journey home, re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, is always the most harrowing. The intense heat that capsule will face, and the parachutes that will carry them to the ocean. The country,
if it's even real,
when they arrive home. Here's Whit Johnson tonight.
Tonight, after that historic liftoff captivated humans around the world, and those stunning images beamed back during their journey around the far side of the moon.
It is absolutely spectacular.
The 4 Artemis astronauts are on track to splash down off the coast of Southern California tomorrow night around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Overnight, as they begin their journey back, pilot Victor Glover on the final hurdle to get home.
And one of the first press conferences we were asked, what are we looking forward to? And I said splashdown, and it's kind of humorous, but it's literal as well, that we have to get back.
Those astronauts all know what now comes as one of the most dangerous parts of spaceflight. Before they reach the Earth's atmosphere, first the Orion spacecraft will separate from the module that's been powering it, revealing Orion's all-important heat shield that will protect the astronauts from the 5,000-degree heat that will be generated as Orion enters Earth's atmosphere at about 24,000 miles per hour. The intense heat will knock out all contact with mission control for about 6 minutes. Then, 2 sets of parachutes will deploy, ultimately slowing the spacecraft to about 20 miles per hour, and then about 13 minutes after re-entering the atmosphere, and after traveling about 695,000 miles, the splashdown in the Pacific off Southern California. Right away, the recovery team waiting in the water will race to the capsule and bring the astronauts to a nearby ship, the USS John P. Murtha, which has already traveled out to sea. Teams on board have been running drills preparing, led by Lieutenant Commander Jesse Wang, a doctor.
We do expect them to have some symptoms for being in space for 10 days, most commonly nausea, a little bit of vertigo or disequilibrium, as well as just being dehydrated and tired.
And overnight, the astronauts already reflecting on their history made.
When we watched that Earth eclipse behind the moon, I'm actually getting chills right now just thinking about, my palms are sweating.
And David, so far the weather looks good for splashdown, this final historic test as American astronauts return home from the moon for the first time in more than 50 years.
So folks, are we going to be establishing colonies on it anytime soon? That's what most people are worried about. Most people are going, are we going to be able to live there? Am I going to be able to retire on the moon anytime soon? And I'm just going to say it, maybe be a little teensy tiny bit more patient. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that it might be a little bit, we're going to be in a Jetson era, maybe by the 2070s, 80s. That's my assumption by now. Folks, I think we should cover our final story before I send you off into your weekend where you can just enjoy whatever it is that you want to. I hope that you've enjoyed this transmission, this broadcast. We've had a wonderful time putting these stories together for you. We hope that you will be here next week. Subscribe if you want more. Ring the bell for notifications like if you liked it. This is a story of love and of hope. It's very similar to the one in Hawaii right now that I've left you with. It's a story of hope I'm going to leave you with so that you can go into your weekend feeling that feeling of hope. This is much like the Hawaii doctor who smashed his wife's head in because she apparently, he loves her so much that he doesn't know what to do with it. It's called cuteness aggression. So, husband arrested after wife falls overboard in the Bahamas. Clumsy bitch. The mysterious disappearance of an American woman in the Bahamas has taken a dramatic turn this week. With the arrest of her husband, Brian Hooker, that's his real last name, a 59-year-old sailor from Michigan. He was taken into custody by the Royal Bahamas Police Force on Wednesday evening in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Lynette. The couple, who documented their life at sea under the social media moniker The Sailing Hookers, Christ. They'd been navigating the Abaco Islands on their yacht when the 55-year-old woman reportedly went overboard late Sunday night. According to Mr. Hooker's accounts, the couple was traveling in a small 8-foot dinghy in rough, unpredictable seas. Listen, I think people are automatically going, it was the husband, it was whoever. why don't we go vintage? Why don't we go the way of the old world? They would go, maybe it was Poseidon who thought that she was a bit of a nag. I think that it was possibly Poseidon. I think that it was likely Neptune, King Neptune, who went ahead and said, God, this bitch, I hate her voice. You got to deal with this all the time. Let's just capsize this thing. God, I'm going to give you a little bit of freedom. I got some sirens on your way to if you want to get to the island of Crete. You know what I mean? If you, I think that we can set you up pretty good. That's what I'm trying to say. He claims that Lynette fell into the water. He claims that she was wearing the boat's engine safety lanyard at the time, which caused the motor to cut out instantly. It left him unable to reach her as strong currents swept her away. This man's a victim. This man is Odysseus. This man lost his family. He's trying to make it home. Hooker told the authorities that he was forced to paddle for 7 hours. No one has sympathy for men anymore. Before finally reaching the shore to raise the alarm, while a massive search and rescue operation involving U.S. Coast Guard is still underway, officials officially shifted the case to a criminal inquiry, citing probable cause for the husband's detention. This is so sexist. The only reason they're going after him is because he has the strength of a man and he could have shoved her off the boat. The arrest has brought a wave of scrutiny to the couple's personal life. If this was, by the way, in reverse and Lynette was the only person who made it back, everybody would go, yeah, maybe she shoved her husband off, but honestly, she's the wife. I assume that she probably wouldn't or couldn't. Daughters are telling reporters that their mother was an experienced sailor who was unlikely to just fall off the boat. What do they know? They're emotional. They don't know what they're talking about. Family members have described the couple's long-term relationship as rocky. They really like the movie, apparently, and it's volatile, particularly involving alcohol. Of course, in a bizarre twist following his arrest, Hooker's attorney claims that while he was being transported in handcuffs to help police search his boat, he lost his footing, fell overboard himself, requiring rescue from local officers. That's kind of funny. And it's kind of, I think, if he did it, by the way, it's a bit of a not a karma thing, but just like a retribution from the gods type thing. No formal charges have been filed. His legal team maintains that he was completely heartbroken. And he's categorically denying any wrongdoing, insisting that the disappearance was a tragic accident. I believe him. Every word of it. With the search for Lynette entering its 6th day, damn, the international community is watching closely to see if the local investigators or the FBI can uncover any further evidence that might explain what truly happened in those dark waters near Elbow Cay. Let's get a clip from this news, and I will release you to your weekend. Go, 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 CBS.
This news has confirmed that police in the Bahamas are questioning the husband of a Michigan woman who went missing at sea. Authorities say 59-year-old Brian Hooker was taken into custody last night in connection with the disappearance of Lynette Hooker. He claimed she fell overboard during a boat trip with him Saturday night.
She looks like she talked a lot.
CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides has more.
Little dingy sunset.
These are some of the videos that Lynette and Brian Hooker recently posted on social media of their boating adventures in the Bahamas.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's
Saturday,
a big
Brian
one.
told police Lynette fell overboard from their 8-foot dinghy during a nighttime ride.
I believe him.
Now Bahamian police say he is a suspect in her disappearance, telling Reuters they took the 59-year-old into custody Wednesday night for, quote, questioning based on some probable cause.
Sexism.
It's unclear what charges he could be facing. Hooker told police Lynette had the keys to the boat when she fell in the water, causing the engine to shut off. He said he paddled the dinghy back to shore to get help, arriving hours later at 4 a.m. In a statement posted on social media before his arrest, Hooker wrote, "I am heartbroken over the recent boat accident in unpredictable seas and high winds that caused my beloved Lynette to fall from our small dinghy."
That's right.
Despite desperate attempts to reach her, the wind and currents drove us further apart.
Huh.
Neighbors captured police near the site where his sailboat
Drove
was
us
docked
further
Wednesday.
apart.
They say it's your final chance to get your side of the story. We also tracked him down Tuesday, but he would not comment about the search for his wife.
Does it add up?
No, it does not.
Yeah, it
Why is
does.
she swimming away from the dinghy? Why isn't she coming back?
Maybe she just didn't know where she was going.
Like, why didn't he stop and put the anchor out and look for her?
Oh my God! Everybody, see, if she was the only one who made it back, if this was reversed, everybody would be going, "Oh, it's such a miracle you made it back." Now that he's the only one that made it back, everybody's, "Why didn't you save her?" Double standard.
She doesn't believe Brian's story.
Their relationship. Has
You're the daughter. I wouldn't expect you to believe him. I wouldn't expect you to believe the truth that your mom was a bit of a klutz on the ocean waves, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you had a wonderful time listening to these stories. I had a wonderful time putting them together for you. I hope that you will join us next week, where Monday through Friday we do the broadcast as per the usual. We bring you the news. We're gonna bring you whatever it is that the weekend has. We'll sift through it, bring you the most nuggety, golden information that you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. This has been your Brain on Air. I've been your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. Thank you so very much for listening. Subscribe if you want more. Like if you liked it. Ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in next week's broadcasts, and bye-bye.